Good morning. Welcome to our Winter Athletic Awards celebration. This awards ceremony was originally scheduled on our school calendar for March 26th, but as we all know, much has happened to keep us from being together in person. As with so many things we've done this spring, I hope you will enjoy these virtual athletic awards recognitions. I'd like to share a few thank yous. To the dining service for being flexible regarding early breakfasts and late dinners, to Mrs. Mosier for preparing our athletic awards each season, to Mr. Harrington for helping to assemble this virtual presentation, to Mr. Jennings, Mr. Godier, Ms. Carton, Mr. Lundblade, Mrs. Reedy, and Mrs. Ridley for helping to time hockey and basketball games, to the maintenance and housekeeping staffs for keeping our facilities in top-notch shape, to Mr. Vining for keeping you athletes in shape, to all of our coaches who are passionate about sports and devoted to their teams, and especially to all of you students who have played on a team, perhaps tried a new sport, pushed yourself further and harder than you might ever have imagined, and experienced success in some big or small way. I'd also like to congratulate the boys varsity basketball team on their selection to the New England Class C basketball tournament this winter, and to congratulate the Alpine ski team for their excellent performances at the New England Class C championship. The boys finishing in third place and the girls team finishing as runners-up for the second year in a row. These two teams joined the boys varsity soccer team, who was selected to the New England Class C tournament last November, and the varsity football team, who participated in the first New England 8-man championship. I'd also like to recognize 5 members of our senior class who have participated in 3 seasons of sport during their 4 years here. They are Joe Godomsky, a member of the soccer, skiing, and baseball teams, Carter Richmond, who has played football, hockey, and lacrosse and run cross country, Elena Frumiento, who has played soccer, participated in cross country and track, and who has represented Hebron for the past 4 winters as a very competitive swimmer in the Maine High School Swim League. Ainsley King, a 4-year field hockey, ice hockey, and softball player, and Tekla Jubenville, who has played field hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse, and who has also been a 2-year member of the Alpine ski team. To hear more about the individual award winners, I encourage you to listen to the presentation we coaches have shared with each of our teams. I encourage you as well to find time each day to be active. I hope you and your families will remain healthy, and please know just how much all of us here at Hebron miss having you on campus this spring.
Hey there, sports fans. This is Mr. Wild here to present the awards for boys varsity basketball. The first award is for Most Valuable Player, which goes to Armandeep Singh. Armand was a revelation this season, and a major reason why Hebron boys basketball had one of the most successful teams of the past 15 years. He is a gifted all-around athlete who helped guide us to the MASAD Championship and the quarterfinals of the New England tournament. By the numbers, Armand's dominance is rarely seen at the prep school level. He was a Class C all-NEPSAC selection and averaged 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. Armand scored 20 points or more in 19 of the 23 games he played in. This included 6 games with 30 points or more and a 47-point performance in an overtime win at Kents Hill. He also recorded a triple-double of 31 points, 18 rebounds, and 12 assists against Gould without committing a single turnover. He rated as the best on-ball defender in the starting lineup, with opponents shooting 27.6% from the field with Armand as the primary defender. My favorite part of Armand's game was how he made the pieces of our team fit together. The starting 5 consisted of 3 guys who are used to having the ball in their hands at all times. Jack and Noah are both versatile scorers, and Armand's drive and kick game opened up a lot of opportunities for them. Overall, the trio knocked down 159 threes this season, an average of 7.5 per game. Coach Flynn and I want to thank Armand for his contribution to the team this year. We will miss his impact and IQ on the court, but also the bus rides and team meals. Thank you for an outstanding season. This final clip is from my favorite performance of Armand's. He tallied 33 points and 7 steals in a pivotal game versus Brewster that really turned our season around. Our second and final award is the Coaches Award, which goes to Asher Stid. Asher was a remarkable story for us this season. He hadn't played organized basketball since being cut as a junior in high school. 2 years later, he filled a vital role for us as our 5th man. As you can see from this clip right here, Asher plays a lot bigger than his size. And that was exactly what Coach Flynn and I were looking for. The core of our team was made up of players used to having the ball in their hands at all times. Asher was our glue guy, a type of player every coach wants to have on their team. Asher did all the little things. He created transition opportunities with his quickness, forced turnovers with his manic energy, and as you can see in that clip, he was always a willing and active rebounder. He would also knock down corner threes and chase down opponents to prevent easy baskets. What impressed me most about Asher was his commitment. He simply cared about the team and wasn't afraid to hold his teammates accountable when he felt they weren't giving 100% effort. My favorite memory of Asher is from our semifinal win over Lee Academy in the Maysad tournament. We played a tough schedule this season, which included a number of bus rides in the 2 to 3 hour range. As a team, we typically struggled to compete from the opening tip and constantly found ourselves having to fight our way back into these tough road games. In our semifinal win against Lee, Asher led the charge. He scored our first 11 points of the game and hit 3 3-pointers. He stepped up when we needed him most and found a way to help us get the win. Coach Flynn and I want to thank Asher for his commitment to the team. He is a gamer, a competitor, and someone we will sorely miss next season. I doubt we will have another player with Asher's drive, not to mention his sock collection. Thank you for an incredible season. This final clip is from my favorite moment of Asher's season. It embodies who he is as an athlete and as a teammate. Someone who shows 100% effort 100% of the time. He goes for the loose ball, runs around both benches, and by the time the camera pans back, he's already in position, ready to play defense.
Hello, everyone. I am here on behalf of the girls basketball team to sum up the season and to share our award winners for this past winter season. So to start off, just in terms of our season, we had a very fun and competitive season. It didn't always go our way, but we learned how to be positive, how to kind of have that next play mentality. I do want to say thank you to all the girls who were especially positive when we needed it. Things don't always go your way, but it's how you can move on and how you can build from those moments. And I think we ended up being successful anyway because we won our last game, which was just a fantastic game. Every girl played their hearts out. And I want to say thank you for that because I think that ended the season on the best note that it possibly could have. When it came to games, we put emphasis on setting goals and achieving them. And I think that's what made us successful in the end. So very great, competitive, and successful season. So to start off, I'm going to talk about our most improved player, which goes to Ava Mantenuto. Ava came in, whether it was a practice, a workout, a game, whatever it was, she always came in with a smile on her face, ready to talk about anything but basketball. And I know that sounds funny, but in times when we really needed goofy or even joking, Ava Mann was there to provide, and she just made everything more lighthearted and not so serious, especially in our droughts that we had where we had lost some games. So always putting a smile on anyone's face. She was a sponge on the court. Everything she wanted to learn, she wanted to do it right. She took every bit of advice that she could and tried to do her best all the time, even after 100 travel calls that we got called on many, many times. Ava got the nickname of Happy Feet because she likes to move a lot. But she started out the season a little hesitant and clearly lacking some confidence, but by the end of the season, she became one of our most essential scorers and defenders. We needed her on the court, and she did what we needed her to do. So congrats, Ava. Thank you for all that you've done for our team. Okay, our next award, our coach's award, goes to Catherine Ducharme. when it came to the Coaches Award, Mr. Weldon and I wanted to look for somebody who sort of embraced challenges, who kind of put in consistent effort every day, and also someone that, we could essentially rely on the court to kind of get things done. And Catherine did all of this all the time. Not only was she an excellent lockdown defender, but she also was one of our top essential scorers that we relied on every single game to kind of put up the same numbers that we had needed in order to win. And Catherine faced every challenge that we needed her to. If I wanted to switch her onto the opposite team's best defender, she did that without hesitation, and she did a really great job with it. When it came to practice and games, she always asked for advice. She wanted to get better, and I think that was clear. We spent many half times working on post shots. Sometimes Catherine would work on threes, although we never really had a three, but still, I think it just goes to show that her work ethic, and she gives her 100% effort, and she's a workhorse. That's pretty much all I can say. So congrats, Catherine, and also thank you to all of the girls. This was a great season, my first season, and I think it was a great first season for all of us to be together. Great building season, and I'm very excited to get back next year. All right, bye.
JV basketball players, this message is directed pretty much at you from Coach Radulski and myself. Normally we'd be sitting in the chapel and the entire school would be part of this presentation and sharing in all of the accolades that we're going to dish out. But really this is more of an intimate message to you from Coach Radulski and myself, telling you what pleasure we had this past season. We really had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys had as much fun as we did. It was with great pride that we saw you guys develop as players from the beginning of the season, when you were really a ragtag bunch of players without much experience, and you coalesced into a team so that you were running basketball plays, you were doing things that intuitively come to basketball players as you gained experience. And we were particularly happy and proud of your effort in the late season game against Hyde, where you led from start to finish. You looked like a real basketball team. It seemed as if everything came together in that one game, for all the weeks of hard practice, all the weeks of defeat, all of the weeks of learning things that you need to learn to become better basketball players and a better team. We really, really enjoyed that game at Hyde. We thought that was the best game of your season. As we move on, and of course we've moved on quite a ways now from the end of the basketball season, but as we move on and look to next year, we have the core of a good team next year if a lot of you guys come back. I would hope to see freshmen Jack, Rodolfo, Connor, and Aaron return. You will only get better as time goes on. Sophomores Mauricio Jesserin, little Mauricio, Fernando, a tiger on defense, Frank, the very reliable starting point guard. You will get better with practice and diligence and getting physically stronger and physically bigger. Juniors Alvaro and Eli, while you did not see much, if any, game time, you certainly provided moral support and you provided some good minutes in the practice court. Thank goodness for Kevin. Kevin was our ball handler and our point scorer. He kept us competitive in many games, and thank goodness for his effort, and thank goodness we had him. And big Mauricio Garcia Marcius. It was a pleasure for Coach Radulski and me to transition from the football season to the basketball season. You were every bit a competitor on the basketball court that you had been on the football field. And then lastly, we want to give a thanks to Mario Machina. And it's a special thanks. It's a coach's award for you, Mario. Coach Radulski and I were very impressed with your efforts this season. You always gave 100%. You always tried your hardest. You always tried to do what we asked you to do. You were a team player. You were a fierce competitor. And we're very, very happy to award the Coaches Award to you this year. We'll try to figure out how to get that to you. It's a nice little plaque with your name on it. I will try to mail that to you because I won't see you before the end of the season, or end of the school year, rather. Hopefully, with the exception of Mario, who will be graduating, going on to college, hopefully we'll see the rest of you coming back to Hebron. And it forms the basis of our next year's JV basketball team. And we like what we see here. With additional practice, with a season of competition under your belt, who knows what next year will bring to us. So again, Coach Radulski and I are very, very happy to have spent a JV basketball season with you guys. We're very pleased with how well things went. We hope you had fun. We know we did. And we were very, very proud of you as to how far you progressed in the course of the season. So good luck to you in the coming months. And we look forward to seeing you next school year. Take care.
Things are in the background.
Hello, ski team, and greetings from Hebron. Miss G, Mr. Godomsky, Mr. Stonebreaker, we're all here to celebrate you in the winter season. We had hoped to do this together in person in March when we first got back to school, but obviously things have changed. But the three of us are here now virtually to celebrate the winter season and to let you all know that we're thinking of you. Mr. Godomsky, you're up.
Great. Well, I had hoped to be doing this up at the base of Sunday River today. The weather was not cooperating because when I went up there last night, the Monday morning was fully covered in snow and very skiable, and probably even put on some gates in the hill for some racing. Oh, always got to have your pass. Okay, get my gloves. So right now, I'd like to recognize a few individuals, some of which I've skied with for a few years, and some this is the first year. And the first group of students or athletes that I'd like to recognize is Kova, Gabby, Teresa, and Cirrus, all of which have some great skiing experience in the past, but have not really done any racing, and really took it to heart this year to really learn and improve and make those gains along the way. And they really worked hard at those improvements and all had their various contributions to the team, to themselves, and their personal growth. So congratulations to Kova, Gabby, Teresa, and Cirrus on a great first year of ski racing. The next two athletes that I'd like to recognize are Kai and Jamie, who I've skied with for the last 3 years, not so much last year, but 2 years ago and then this year. And all year long, I couldn't help but be so impressed with their dedicated growth and confidence in every time they stepped out onto the hill this year. If I go back 2 years ago, there was a lot of resistance to some of the work. And not because they didn't want to improve, but because they just didn't have the confidence to do it. And this year, every day they went out there and worked hard, and the confidence was just clear. And it was so fun to see. The next athlete I'd like to recognize is Megan, who again comes to Hebron with a breadth of skiing experience, but not racing experience. And she, I believe, coaches young kids on the weekend and teaches some skiing, and really has adapted quite well to racing and has been one of our most consistent female athletes in the last couple of years. The next athlete is one of our coaching award winners, and one of my I enjoyed watching the continued growth of Tekla over the course of this year, who really worked hard and was determined to improve every time, every run, every turn. It got to the point where she was always seeking advice and trying to make that next step to just get better. And one of our favorite lines that we used together was, be athletic, okay? And whatever you do, be athletic. So congratulations, Tekla, on the Coaches Award. And remember, be athletic. Okay, the final athlete I'd like to talk about is Brody. Brody has been with us now for 2 years and has shown continued growth. And many don't know, but he suffered an injury 3 years ago that prevented, or maybe 4 years ago, that prevented a year of skiing on the hill. Last year was kind of building up those miles back in and getting his feet back underneath him. And this year really started to come back to form and what he had done in the past. So congratulations, Brody, on the continued improvement and another recipient of this year's Coaches Award. Look forward to your guidance next year and your leadership in this team moving forward. All right, so here we'll head it back over to Ms. G and see what else we're going to do today. There we go.
Unfortunately, I don't have any props, but I hope you can see our New England Championship plaques right behind us, and also the girls JV Mason Championship trophy. You can ignore that basketball trophy. It's just holding everything else up. I just want to say, before I get started talking about some kids, how much I really enjoyed being with you guys on the hill this year. It was really a very special season, and every moment of it was a lot of fun. I'm going to talk about some of my former middle school skiers moved up, and then a few other kids. So I'll start with Tess and Mason. You guys both skied in the middle school. Tess, you even joined us for a few high school races last year as an 8th grader. It was great to have both of you guys with us this year. Mason, I know that you were new to racing, but you raced in 4 races this year, and your last 2 races of the season were top 10 finishes, which I thought was really awesome. Cotton Strong. I hope some of your teammates are chuckling right now, and we have an image of you trying to put on your ski boots in the Lost Valley Lodge 2 years ago. You got some better and bigger skis. You got some better and bigger boots, and boy, you turned into a better and bigger skier. I'm not really sure there was anybody more surprised than you when you had a first place finish at the Sunday River Giant Slalom. It was a really awesome thing. In fact, you had 3 top 5 finishes during the season, and you finished 4th place overall in the Mason point standings for JV, which was really terrific. Nola, you were a 9th grader too, new to us this year, but you too, just like Cotton, had a really strong season. You also won the Giant Slalom at Sunday River early in the season, and you finished 4th overall in the Mason JV points. You also had 4 top 4 finishes, and that was really great for us to see. Kenna, another freshman, and if there's somebody who's really devoted to getting better, I think that's you. I think of the times I was at the bottom of the hill and you would say, what could I do better? Was that good, Miss G? What should I do? What should I work on? I think every time you came down from a training run, you had that question. It'll be really exciting to have you ski again next year. And Dylos, even though you weren't an official member of the team in terms of racing, you showed up all the time, and you were also really determined just to become a better skier. And I admire your dedication and your willingness to each day to go out with us and to ski and to improve. Emma, you're a middle school skier too. And last year, you had a little time out. It was really great to have you back this year. Your skiing got better throughout the season. I know you're really hungry to be a varsity racer, and I think you had some breakthroughs right at the end of the season. Your 2nd place finish at Shawnee Peak in our second to last race really proves that. It'll be really exciting to have you back next year. Olivia, now, what a champ you are. You've gone from just skiing because you like to ski to racing in all 6 of our races this season. You show up at practice every day. You're happy to ski in any kind of condition, and you've gotten better. I think about how long I've seen you ski, and I know how much you've improved. I hope you ski again as a senior because you're a really valuable member of the team. Sophie and Maya were our 2 middle school racers to the 2 8th graders, and each of you 2 have had really great seasons. You finished in the top 10 and in the overall Mason point standings for the varsity girls, and you both earned all NEPSAC status for your great finishes at our New England ski race. Certainly you were contributors to the girls finishing as runners-up again this year. You two, Maya and Sophie, I wanted to let you know too that you are 2 of our Coaches Award recipients this season, so congratulations on that. And finally, Molly and Grace, you 2 are the most reliable skiers that I know. And I know, Grace, you were a little injured this year, and that was too bad. You missed some races. But you 2 together and independently are dependable and reliable. You show up to practice each day. if you're guaranteed to finish any race that you enter, and we're really grateful for that. You're such an important part of our varsity girls team, and as returning seniors next year, and we'll be 4-year members of the ski team, you guys will be really important as leaders of our team, and it'll be great to have you back. So congratulations to my group of kids on a great season, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Stonebreaker. Okay.
Hi, guys. I don't have the kind of detailed notes that Alex and Mitzi do, in part because it's kind of hard to talk to you now, knowing that, at least for now, this is the last time I'll get to talk to a group of Hebron skiers and celebrate them after years and years and years. And so what I take away from the season is so much about how we were together, and we were together all the time, and we worked hard, and we shared, and we had our good times, and we had our times when we went on our noses. And that's, all part of it. And so more than just the results, the moments when the clock stopped, I'm thinking about the moments that I want to take forward from seeing you on the hill. And I think, my first person is Nicandro, the big guy with the big goggles and the black coat, and you're there at the start. And, you go from just wondering about the sport to being a skier, in a way, in the same way that Andy Zhang, that you did it as well. You went from wondering whether you could stand on those things to throwing tracks down the hill, and I think of watching you from the top of the slalom training, just going hard every time. And for you, really, you'll be receiving award really as an award as the most improved guy, and boy, were you ever. And then I come to two other guys, different in their own way, and I'm going to think of these, you two, in the ski room, because George and Wes, you became just pros, so conscious of your equipment. You were mindful of the little things. You were going to have good wax. You were going to have a good edge. You were looking ahead. You were seeing yourself racing in the race the next day, and it's kind of special that way. And Wes, you had to have results when it counted at Knapsacks. Good job, And then I got a pair of girls. We've had our international kids for years and years and years, and they've been kind of special. And I'm going to think about you, Tony, standing tall. You who told me on the track during a basketball game in December that you weren't going to be a ski racer. But boy, you got sucked into the sport, and how good you were. You're so pretty, and I don't mean that in any feminist kind of way. So graceful and swooping, a good skier, technically great. Stina, I see you with your bags packed and those red pants, and you're rough and ready and just with a grin, and everything was all right every time you went on the hill, and you had nice results. And I come to the sophomore sensations, sat beside each other in the fall in English class and talked about it, and and Philip, you went to Calvin's house, and I'm sure you guys were you were mastering the racing all through the fall in your own ways. But Calvin, boy, what growth you had over the season, and what good results this year as a varsity racer and contributor. Philip, 1 year you come from arena skiing in Germany, and yet you suddenly discovered the growth curve of, oh my goodness, the hills are big here, and it's something to throw them down at Sunday River or Shawnee and see what it is to dive over the head walls, go on the steeps. But you, again, you're master of your equipment, and you skied hard, and wonderful stuff there. And finally, somebody that I see a little bit the way I saw my own kids too many years ago to think, just as Alex would be a dad watching a son go through Hebron as a ski racer, it was really super, Joe, to watch you go through Hebron as a ski racer. From the squirt throwing it down as a sixth grader, I think, at Loon Mountain, and the knapsacks sneaking in under the radar, to 4 years as a high schooler, to leading a team this year. And honestly, Joe, I think I can only remember 3 guys in more than 40 years who, as Hebron skiers, won a championship race at knapsacks, as you did. And the more special for you, for me, it's kind of the split image of just watching you from the pits of my stomach after you took a nosedive not a nosedive, but after you just got thrown out of the course, Pink Panther style, exit stage right in the morning run of GS. And then you come back in the afternoon and just smoke the field. Only one of 3 guys in more than 40 years to do that. Absolutely special. It's a Joe, too. A coach's award. And in a way, as I've said to all of you, I see you all on the hill. And boy, I hope I can see you on the hill in the future. I dream that I can, but I know it won't. It very likely can't happen. But as you see yourselves and as you are on the hill, maybe some of the stuff we did this year will stay with you. Especially that old, the little mantra that you put under the soles of your feet. GF, NF, HF, it's good advice for any skier. Go fast, no fears, have fun. I wish you all the best. See you on the hill.
Thank you guys for a terrific season.
Hey, hello, hola, ni hao, konnichiwa. Hey everyone, hope you're all well wherever you are. Probably not doing a lot of snowboarding, but here there's still good snow in the mountains. And normally on a day like this, we take everyone and go up to Mount Washington and we climb the mountain and snowboard down. So hopefully next year, for those who come back, we'll definitely get some spring skiing and snowboarding in, especially over in the big mountains. But I wanted to take some time and congratulate and thank you for a great snowboard season. I know some of you came to Hebron because of snowboarding, and for some of you, you decided to stay at Hebron because you love snowboarding, and that's great. I'm so glad you found something here that you love to do. Some of you didn't know you could snowboard at Hebron, and you gave it a try this year, so hopefully that was fun and rewarding experience for you. I want to thank the seniors. Some of you did snowboarding. I think 3 of you did snowboarding all 4 years. You had Han and Ethan and Ife. I'm so glad you stuck with it. I know how much you enjoyed it. I loved that as soon as Sunday River opened in October, you'd say, oh, can we go this weekend? Can we go this weekend? Even if only one trail was open. So I'm so glad you found something that you love to do. And then for those of you who learned this year, snowboarding is really hard to learn, especially in icy conditions. It's a little harder to learn than skiing, but you stuck with it. For those who came every day, thank you so much. And I know you had fun out there. Luckily, no one got hurt too bad. But hopefully you've learned something that you can do for the rest of your lives. Even when you're old like me, you can keep snowboarding. So I'm glad you gave it a try. And of course, our competition team, we should recognize our MESAD champions. Keita, who recorded the highest scores ever seen in the league, is the best snowboarder we've seen. And Beatrice, who was the surprise winner on the girls' side. Although Grace was very close, and often it was hard for the coaches to decide whether to vote for Grace's style or smooth style or Beatrice's speed and aggression. So maybe next year you can learn from each other and combine styles and be really unstoppable. But you guys did great, and thanks to all the competitors who showed up every single time, and most of all represented Hebron really well. That's really important, and hopefully you had fun too. So I hope everyone has some fun memories from the winter. I know I certainly do. I remember seeing Keita do a backflip in the first competition on a pretty small jump. and he was disqualified and won the competition at the same time, which is pretty funny. That's never happened before. I remember racing on an icy day at Lost Valley with Grace and Beatrice. That was great fun. We should do more racing and border cross stuff in the future. Some of you got to see the secret powder stashes in the woods at Sunday River. Hopefully we'll get more powder next year, and then we can explore Sunday River a little bit more. David, in one of the last competitions, who went through the terrain park with his jacket and his shirt open, skateboard style, he got high fives and extra style points from the judges. So hopefully, David, you'll come back and bring more skate style to the slopes next year. And Nolan, who really got down the board slide and the 180s, and really great athlete, but you have to get your snowboard situation figured out. Then you'll be really good next year. But I do hope some of you come back and do snowboarding again. We're so lucky. We get to snowboard almost every single day. It's a great opportunity. And I know some of you have found it to be a really rewarding experience. So I really look forward to it every year. It's the highlight of my year, doing snowboarding with you guys. And I hope you stay well and stay stoked. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well during this crazy time with the pandemic, and you're safe and sound with your loved ones at home. Coach Paul and I are here today to announce the Winter Athletic Awards for Varsity Hockey 2019-2020 season. First, I'd like to give a couple thank yous and shout outs to Mitzi or Miss Gunther for her work, getting the schedule solidified, working with other teams, getting situated for travel, and providing money on the road as well, and hotel reservations. I'd also like to thank Mr. Vining and Michaela for their outstanding assistance and coverage through the athletic training group. I would also like to thank the maintenance guys, namely Chuck and Brian and Ronnie, rest in peace. First award that we'd like to give out today is for Most Improved. This individual came in as a sophomore this year from a public school institution, played really good minutes for us, did a really nice job improving his game over time. I think he had an outstanding second half of the season. One instance where he shined for us was at a game against Berwick, at Berwick. We were down 1-0. He worked hard to get into open space and open area, received a nice pass from behind the net, scored a nice goal for us to tie the game 1-1 midway through the first period in a game that we ended up winning 4-3. So for his dedication to the team, the work that he's put in, and the improvement that he made over the course of the season, that award's going to go to Jack Madden.
So for the second award, we're going to be doing the Hard Hat Award for our tough, grinding, digging, fighting player on the team. This one is going to somebody who doesn't have the size necessarily that you would think they would be one of the hardest people to play against, but as one of our reliable centers, constantly on the penalty kill, every chance we got to get him out there, really just worked hard in every corner of the ice all the time, and did anything he could on either end of the ice to make sure that we won. Trevor Tardanico getting the Hard Hat Award. For me, Trevor's highlight from the year, I would say, was tough to pin down to a single game. But he, in the games where we had real tight matchups with NYA, with Berwick, with Kents Hill, and our rivals, he was a difference in whether we won or lost in a lot of those games. So Trevor with the Hard Hat Award.
Awesome. The third award is going to go to, will be the Academic Award. This was a tough battle between two individuals over the course of the year along the way. The individual that was able to pull it out is somebody that is a multiple sport athlete for us, works hard not only on the athletic fields, but very hard in the classroom, well liked by everybody in the community, and is just a contributor throughout Hebron Green, and we want to make sure that we give that award to somebody that had a 3.95 GPA, and that individual will be Emmett Grover.
All right, the Scott Smith Award, I'm going to read a description for it, is given to an outstanding defensive player who has, in the eyes of his teammates and coaches, contributed significantly to the team without the thought of personal recognition. The way that I would explain this individual getting that particular award was their willingness to play or not play from shift to shift, depending on what the team needed and what was going to benefit everybody, not just in one game, but for the long-term sustainability of the team and the success of everybody else. And also for their performance when we really needed them to step up and particularly make big hits, make aggressive plays. Two things that stand out to me for this player. scored a goal that he will never be able to repeat again in his life, because we're pretty sure that he entered some kind of Zen state, deked through the entire opposing team and ripped a shot off the corner of the bar in that, again, I don't know how he'll ever be able to replicate it even in something like NHL 20K. The other big moment for me, though, that actually embodies what made him special was when the sickness was running through the team and he, sick as a dog, was on the bench, basically just asking me to keep a bucket nearby so that he could turn around and throw up if he needed to and then get back out. He did not miss a shift that entire game. He stayed away from his teammates as best he could to try to prevent them getting sick, but he didn't allow his own illness to overcome his ability to be a part of that team. And to be frank, despite looking like a ghost, he played incredibly well. So Dan McHugh is getting our Scotsman Award.
And the final award, the fifth award for us, is going to be the most valuable player. This individual was the leading point scorer for us with 7 goals and 14 assists and 21 points. Points for Coach and I really aren't the shining moment for this individual. The reason that this person would receive the MVP is he puts the team in front of himself and does everything that he needs to do to make sure he betters the individuals around him to try to push the collective group towards success. This is his second year with us. He had a wonderful season last year as a junior. Senior year this year, he really stood out as that person that Coach and I can rely on in every situation, every scenario. He worked hard offensively, defensively, with the physical game as well, and really brought a lot to the table to kind of make the team click. I know he was a big contributor in the locker room as well. I don't think we would have had the DNA of the team that we had this year if this individual hadn't been with us and did the work that he had done and what he had put in. He's a valuable contributor to the community, multiple sport athlete, and just really a real well-rounded human being. So for us, the MVP award is going to go to Thomas Lavasar. And then lastly, as well for me, quick shout out on my behalf, personally to Coach Paul for what he put into the season. I couldn't have done what I had done as a first-year head coach if it wasn't for Coach. He's done a great job from a data collective and data analysis perspective, and we're excited about the future to come and what we have together collectively here for Hebron varsity hockey. So thank you.
The 2019-2020 hockey season was definitely one for the books. I want to start off by saying thank you to all the players and the parents for making our first season as coaches such a fun one. Hockey is a pretty amazing sport because you get to spend so much time together and you go through so much as a group that it really turns into a family. And that's exactly what the girls on this team did this year. They came together as a family. We talked about it a lot in the locker room, and these girls really decided to all get on the same page and work as hard as they could, even under some crazy circumstances. There's 2 games that I want to talk about that really show what the kind of team this group was. I'm proud to say that this group embodied exactly what hockey is about: team first, toughness, and family. So the first game that I want to talk about is the Kent Hill game at the Maine Prep Cup. It was our first game of that tournament. We had a whole bunch of injuries and illnesses. So we had 9 skaters. If you know anything about hockey, 9 skaters is not enough, but you can get by. So we had to play Kent Hill that first game with 9 skaters. They easily had like 4 lines deep. The girls played unreal. They outplayed them. They just absolutely dominated the game, and we ended up winning that game, I do believe, 3-2. And the Kent Hill coach was rattled about that whole situation, right? If we're in the middle of a line change and you were to look at Coach Pratt and I, there would be nobody on the bench, which is absolutely insane. So that game, and I guess coaches, we were so proud of them just pushing through all sorts of adversity, coming together as a group and just not stopping and taking the win on that one. The second game was senior night, also against Kent Hill. That was a special night just in general because it was senior night. But we came out that game with a different level of fire, and we, from the drop of the puck, we went back and forth with Kent Hill. It was so much fun to be a part of with all the fans. really getting behind the girls. The girls were super pumped. We went goal for goal with them. Eventually ended up tying, but the girls played unreal, and that really, I think, showed the Hebron community what this group really was about, and it was hard work, no matter what the circumstances were. So now Coach Pratt's going to hand out 2 of our awards.
Yeah. All right. So first, we have our MVP. This player kept us in many of our games and had multiple showings of over 50 saves a game. She is a leader on and off the ice, extremely dedicated to her craft and always looking for ways to improve. Goalies always seem to get overlooked, but we would like to take this time to share our appreciation for the terrific work that Ainsley King has done for Hebron girls ice hockey. We were so fortunate to have her in net, and we'll miss her next season. Thank you, Ainsley, for an incredible season. Yay! All right. Our next award is our Coaches Award. There's no doubt that this skater is the toughest kid at this school. She will do anything for the benefit of the team, including but not limited to playing through severe illness while also accumulating the most minutes. Even if she was dying or was cross-checked to the throat, if we asked her to step up, she always would. No hesitation. Just the typical answer of, yeah. Lindsay Baisha is the definition of a team player, and we thank her for her dedication this season. Finally, we're just going to miss our seniors, and both of us are super pumped and looking forward to next season. Anything else?
Congrats to the award winners, and let's make sure we're getting to work in this off season, ladies.
All right. Hi, everybody. I am Mr. Fiddler.
Mr. Brooks.
We are the coaches of the B hockey team. We're the coaches of the B hockey team this year at Hebron Academy. And we just want to start off our little talk by thanking a few people who really helped us out along the way. First and foremost would be Miss Mitzi, who put together an amazing schedule for us. Despite many scheduling conflicts, we ended out with an awesome 10-game season that was memorable for everybody involved. So thank you very much. Mr. Vining, thank you for keeping our players healthy. I'd like to thank the varsity coaches for supporting our team throughout the year, lending us players. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you to everybody who timed games for us, Miss Reedy, Mr. Gaudier, and Mr. Barr. Again, we can't have a season without you. So thank you so much. Thank you to the varsity guys who came down and helped us along the way. You guys really stepped up and made a difference, helped us have a really meaningful season. So thank you very much. Our record was 4-5-1. We finished the season with an exciting tie to Kents Hill. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Brooks for some highlights of the season.
Absolutely. So we had a lot of highlights this year. It was a really, really fun year. Started off with a huge victory against NYA, but I think the biggest win of the season that we all can agree on was our second game against Kents Hill, where we beat them barely. Or was it by, I think we ended up beating them by 2 goals.
We did beat them by 2 goals, yeah.
At their place, but it was come from behind victory. And there's 2 people worth mentioning. Well, everyone's worth mentioning, but Kenny had a shot from the blue line that I think had a trajectory, an arc on it, and it was fluttering and slow, but it went in the net nonetheless. And then, of course, our hero, Will Harvey, who had the go-ahead goal late in the third period. And looking back on the season, that was probably the most memorable game for everyone. And it's also worth mentioning that we went undefeated against Kents Hill this year. And no matter what the record is, if you go undefeated against Kents Hill, then I think that we had a successful year.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning that those our last 3 goals, the goal to tie it, the goal to go ahead, and the goal to go ahead by 2, I think all happened within the last 5 minutes of the game. So it was tight. It was looking shaky for a little while there. So
yeah.
All right, so I'd like to thank all of our players now by name. These guys really played their hearts out this season, so give it up for them. First, we have Frankie, Jacob Fisher, Brennan Pike, Will Harvey, Darian Jameson, Pekka Hallinan, and then the last 2 players are our seniors, and they're our award winners this year. So we're going to give them a little special shout out. First up is Kenny, 2-year veteran of the B team. Stepped up in a big way to play, whatever we needed him to play. He was all around, did everything we needed him to do, offense, defense, goalie in certain practices. Just such a leader on and off the ice, co-captain, and just a guy that you really want to have on your team. So for all he did, and for, the big goals that he scored, the Kents Hill game, but there were many others. And so for all he's done for us, he is our MVP of the season.
Absolutely, and well-deserved, Kenny. The other guy we want to talk about is Carter Richmond. Without Kenny and Carter, this year would not have been what it was at all, and maybe wouldn't have gone on. I mean, everyone's important, but given our light numbers, kind of the situation that we faced every day, it would have been easy to kind of mail it in practice and in games, and Kenny and Carter never let that happen. And Carter specifically was our anchor on defense. You could always rely on him with his kind of like subtle aggression that's always brewing within him. And Carter was really just outstanding player for us, amazing leader, 4-year varsity B guy, and is so deserving of the Coaches Award this year. And so, Carter, thank you for your dedication and for all the fun times and hard work that you put in and day out. You really, really elevated the season and made it what it was.
Yeah. So once again, just big, round of applause for all our guys. Thank you so much, everybody who helped out. And again, and a big thank you to Mr. Brooks for all he did for the team. And, looking forward to a long string of great seasons for the B team ahead.
Absolutely. And thank you, Mr. Fiddler. It was a great year.
Absolutely.
Coming in as a first-year guy here at Hebron, I couldn't have asked for a better time with this varsity B team. One that we won't soon forget. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you.